Hello and welcome to the Dee Code. We are talking about Enochian magical temples and tools. If you don't know what the Dee Code is, Enochian Magic, or John Dee, please do start at the beginning of this lecture series or join the e-course. So, Enochian Temple is where Enochian magic is done. This is where communications with angels happen through scrying. And it includes a number of different elements and tools: the Holy Table, Ensigns of Creation, Sigilium Dei Ameth, the Shewstone, the Lamen, the Ring of Pele, the elemental tables. We have the image on the slide. This is from the British Museum. It has the Shewstone, which is the obsidian mirror. It has the crystal ball allegedly given to Dee from Uriel. It has the Sigilium Dei Ameth in two sizes, 3 discs, that held up the holy table as well as held the Shewstone on the table. And then it looks like we've got the watchtower disc over there. So this Enochian temple is described in the 5 books of mystery, which you can get to through the Sloan manuscript 3188 or Peterson's 5 books of mystery as source book. It's also described in De Heptarchia Mystica, which is the source of the Dee Code, in Sloan 3191, which is published by Turner under the De Heptarchia Mystica title. All right, so the Holy Table. This is really essential to the scrying work. This is what held the Sigilium Dei Ameth and the Shewstone, the mirror on the table. This is has rather specific instructions on construction. It has a perimeter of Enochian language script. In the center, there's a table of Enochian language. There's also the Ensigns of Creation. John Dee painted those onto his table. The angels said it was okay after initially asking them to make it in tin. So there's a lot of confusion around how this table should be actually painted. If there is the copies we have, the etchings we have of it, are they accurate or not? Teresa Burns and Alan Moore go through that in a beautiful paper published in the Journal of Western Magical Tradition. So please do check out how to sequence the perimeter letters on John Dee's Holy Table. All right, so this is an exploded view of the Ensigns of Creation. These are associated with the heptarchical powers in some way, meaning they're associated with the days of the week and the 7 planets that are of traditional Western astrology. These are presented in the English script, but may also be translated into the Angelic script. So you see the presence of B a lot. There's numbers, it's weird. These sort of look like highly embellished planetary squares, to be honest, that have additional properties. So I look to Cornelius Agrippa's work on the planetary squares to help even wrap my mind around what might be going on here. So we got the Sigilium Dei Ameth, which is this is the device that is inscribed on the wax discs. There is a lot going on here, and it is clearly explained well in Enochian Vision Magic by Duquette. There are many derivations of angel names. This has clues as to how John Dee and the angels were thinking about encoding. There's a lot of information here. I like just sitting with it, going through that, because I think it helps me practice the coding, the way of thinking around the code. But I just wanted you to see this right now. Here we've got the Shewstone, or the crystal ball. The Shewstone is the obsidian mirror that was recently determined to be taken from the Aztec Empire at some point in time, and likely hung in like the eye place of a mural of the god of divination for the Aztecs, likely taken through conquest in some way, shape, or form, and then given to Dee. We also have the crystal ball that was allegedly given by Uriel And there is some confusion as to whether or not John Dee used which of these in what case. It is important to note that with Trithemis in his Stenographia, there is a cryptographic quality to looking through a crystal ball at all of these different letters and things like that. So the placement of a specifically sized crystal ball on a specifically proportioned table with specific language around that may actually produce the optics necessary to encipher or decipher text, which is really very much consistent with how John Dee understood optics. Like, he loved optics, so it would not be a surprise to me to understand that this one crystal ball was a keystone or a key to actually ciphering some of these texts. In the same way that the book he spent 10 days transcribing from Trithemis before doing this work, in the same way that described more or less in recipe style instructions. All right, we've got the Holy Lamen. This is kind of placed on the chest. I understand it to be instructed to be written in paper, actually, but most people do the gold. I have a golden painted wooden thing with the Heptarchic Lamen, the Angelic one. There's on the screen, we've got the translation into the English script. And it is important to know that all of these placements, all of these letters are derived in specific ways. We also have the demonic Lamen that was given to Dee but then told not to use. So this may actually be a specific clue as to how to interpret some of the codes. We have the Ring of Pele, which is understood to be something like the Ring of Solomon, and to be worn by the magical operator. This one device really does tie us from the Enochian system to Solomonic magic, where you're summoning angels and commanding them based upon power. This ring allegedly gives that power. We also have the Great Table. This in part came through the Liber Logoth and then translated in through the Enochian phase of workings. It is the table that is associated with the Shakespeare codes. So when Alan Green says that Shakespeare's codes points to the Enochian tables, these are the Enochian tables, and this is a representation of Enochian tables as generally understood within the context of, say, Golden Dawn practice or something like that. There's colors added in, there's and then they go on the walls. You use them to generate some of the elemental angel names and things like that. So there's a lot of information. I like, again, Teresa Burns and Alan Moore's work, again, published through the Journal of Western Magical Tradition, so check that out. And we also have ritual books as part of the tools of Enochian Magic. Here's an image of John Dee's own Enochian grimoire, understood to be a sort of spell book, right? So he would have this and read through it, I guess, in part of the practice. This is Sloan manuscript 3191. This is the 48 keys. So this text actually comes from, in part that I believe, but it has been translated from the Liber Logoth kind of 94 grids into this information. I haven't actually gone through those derivations. I think that would be meaningful, but this is a lot of work, so I wanted you to just see that he's got the English translations plus the Enochian words underneath. All right, invitations to actions for this experience today. I would invite you to chant the names of the Sigilium Dei Ameth. So there's angel names in the Sigilium Dei Ameth, and you can get that list by going to Duquette's Enochian Vision Magic. They're available online too. You can chant the perimeters, the perimeter letters of the Holy Table. Again, Duquette's Enochian Vision Magic is a great reference, but you can go through and just chant them. It's like Pa Med, Drox Med, Fam Med, Gon Gazig, something like that, in a way that feels good, or listen to the chanting online. You could also furnish your own temple by printing out these tools or drawing them by hand and taping them up around your experience just to feel what that's like, because really the feeling, the exploration, and imagination is key. You can also join the e-course on decode.org for guided meditations, deep dives into topics, and practice videos and Q&A. So we are getting to the point where I offer the promotions for you to connect with me in my professional work throughout the internet. So if you've listened to this before, you can skip on to the next video. Or perhaps you might want to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. So I offer this information, this e-course on decode.org. This has got a website with info about John Dee and the code here. CosmicDreamSanctuary.org is where I offer dream work and hypnosis practice based in Western esoteric and mindfulness traditions. So that's like if you want to do angel communication, you might want to connect with me through that method. D-SETI.org is where I offer dreamwork sessions and training regarding extraordinary and anomalous experiences like ET or NHI contact in dreams. This is from a research-based perspective. So I do read the science of hypnosis to inform that practice. So you can check that out at dseti.org. Finally, we've got Dreamwell, the mobile app, to help you sleep, dream, and be well. It offers mindfulness training, dream journal, and guided meditations. You can get that at dreamwellbewell.com or to the App or Play Store to download it. So thank you for going on this journey with me. You might actually be wondering what the point of all these tools are. And at one side, it does actually look like the establishment of a three-dimensional cryptographic key based around the proportions of a crystal ball sitting on a well-proportioned expression of cryptographic tables, right? Like that are literally and truly cryptographic tables placed around in 3 dimensions. That has a historic precedent for using strange angel language to encode stenographic messages, right? So that's one side of it. Like that's actually one point of it that a lot of us have been missing in terms of our practice, because a lot of these connections have not been made between the actual practice, the tables, and the 3-dimensional expression of it. I only got to this understanding when I thought about making an Enochian temple in an icosahedron dome as opposed to 4 dimensions, a four-walled dome, four-walled room, which I usually practice in. So I was like, how does this work? And then I came across the information as well that the crystal ball is essential to Trithemis's stenographia, and then from there it's just very, very clear we are establishing a 3-dimensional cryptographic key that we're working in. But that doesn't mean that the angels that you interact with are any less or anything less potent. So that's a really strange thing. The other strange thing about this work is like, even though I don't understand any of this stuff, right? I say the prayers that now I see are completely encoded, right? Now I say the angel names that I had no idea how to derive from any of the Sigilium Dei Ameth or anything like that. I said that in the past, and it produced an experience of truth that has been life-changing to me, that has expressions of in a 3-dimensional, corroborated, veridical ways almost. And I didn't understand the code. And that's totally fine. And so there's a kind of a paradox of why do we need this? Why do we need to do the code? What's going on? And the thing I keep coming back to is that this is in part, these tools are powerful for a specific culture. These are tools that are powerful for a culture because they are central to the historic and political drama associated with colonization of a new world, which involves the genocide of peoples, the destruction of planets, of our planetary ecosystem, and an establishment of a disgusting monophasic culture. Like these are essential to that. Somewhere, and somehow these have a key for us to solve the problems that we are in here and now, right? Like I'm not sure what that is. in part, I think that is catharsis and healing and our capacity to forgive the colonizers, forgive ourselves for being those colonizers, forgiving ourselves or forgiving those who have victimized us. I think that might actually be the key. And this one story may actually have the capacity to offer that catharsis at a collective, cultural level, not just individual, which is why I'm talking about this Dee Code, which is why I say, please, if you're inspired to, go on this journey of decoding the Dee Code with me, because this may actually heal Western culture to such a degree that it can then respect the actual connections other cultures have with non-human intelligences, that we might get to a spot where we can actually respect or even acknowledge the contact we have already. So that's why it's important. I keep coming back to. I'd invite you to consider why this inquiry is important to you. And so with that, I'll see you in the next talk.